Hey everyone, and welcome to another tutorial for FPS Engine. Today I'll be guiding you on how to get started with FPS Engine, and so for that here I have my Unity hub and I'm gonna create a new Unity project. And so notice that for that you need to be using Unity 2021.1.16 or above. For this tutorial, I'll be using 2021.3, which is a LTS version, which stands for long-term support, and so it's quite recommended to use a LTS version. And as I said, in this case, I'm going to be using 2021.3. I'm going to give it the name. Let's do FPS tutorial, for instance, and I'm going to create a new project. And so here I have the project, and what we are going to be doing now is we're going to go to Window, Package Manager, and make sure you select My Assets. And now we are going to search FPS Engine, and then click on Import. And make sure to import everything and accept all the dependencies. So click on Import, install Upgrade. Click on Yes, so we can enable the new input system that is required by FPS Engine. And now the editor will restart. Alright, so after the editor restarted, we just need to go back to FPS Engine to install the rest of the package. So click on Import again, and click on Import, install an upgrade, and you can see that here we have everything that the FPS Engine includes. So make sure everything is selected, and then click on Import. Alright, so we got FPS Engine installed, and so you'll see a new folder called Cousins, so we can open that. And the first thing you probably want to do when you install FPS Engine into your Unity project is to open the demo. And here you can find the blank scene, the main menu, the movement showroom, and the showroom. Now before accessing any of these scenes, I want to let you know that if you're using ERP or HDRP, I have a tutorial specifically for that in the channel as well, so make sure to check that out. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna be opening any of these showrooms. I'm gonna open the movement showroom, for instance, and you'll be asked to import TextMesh Pro for all the UI and stuff, so you can just click on Import TMP Essentials and it will be installed. You don't really need to import the TMP examples and extras. You can do it if you want, but I won't be doing that for the sake of this tutorial. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna make it full size, and just like that, you can test the engine as much as you want. You can try the movement, you can press Q so the list of inputs appear. You can also press Q again to hide it. You can pick up weapons, shoot and kill the enemies and stuff, so you can pretty much test the engine as much as you want. Now if you want to get to customize the engine and to actually start learning how the engine works, I recommend you to go here where it says template. You will be able to find the Cousins FPS controller. So I'm gonna open that, open the player, and here you'll find another player object where all the necessary components for the player are located. So we have player movement, weapon controller, player stats, interact manager, and some others. Now most of the customization for the player will be done here. So we have the player movement where you can change a lot of different settings for your player. And so let's say that you don't want your player to be able to slide, you can just toggle that. Or maybe you don't want to have a double jump, you can just set this to 1. Or maybe you want to use a stamina system for your game, you can just enable that. And it's pretty much as easy as that. For this tutorial, I don't want to be able to wall bounce and I don't want to be able to dash, but I want to be able to wall run, so I'll just keep that enabled. And maybe I want to run a bit faster and I want to walk slower. I don't know, you can do basically whatever you want. Same applies for the weapon controller. Maybe I just want to carry 3 weapons instead of just 2. So I can just set the inventory size to 3. You have a lot of different variables. You can set different effects here. Then you also have the player stats, which handles the health, shield, full damage, and others. So maybe I want to take full damage, you can just enable that. In this case, I will disable it. And same applies for the interact manager. So you can pretty much touch any variables here and, you know, modify it and customize it so it fits your game according to your likes. Now, notice that if you make a new scene and you want to get started with making games with FPS Engine, you do not really need to make the character from scratch. And this is a question that I usually get. And so let's imagine that I don't have a character in this scene, okay? If you want to add a FPS Engine character into your scene, you can just go to Cousins and then Prefabs. And then under the player controllers, you have 3 different prefabs for the FPS Engine controller. And so in this case, I'm just going to drag and drop the Cousins FPS controller, which is the basic one. I'm going to save and hit play. And as you can see, it works completely fine. All right? Cool. So as I said, you can play around with different elements in the scene. As you can see, we have different pickups here, and you can change the pistol to maybe any others weapons that come by default for FPS Engine. And so if you want to add new weapons, I recommend you to check out the tutorial for that, which is also available in the channel. And so that will be very helpful, and it's actually very straightforward and easy to set up, and you can have a fully custom weapon in, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. All right, so as I said, you can just play around with different elements. So you can have here crates, enemies, and others. You can also check the other showroom. You have other elements here, such as point captures, checkpoints, heart triggers, coins, doors, and others, as well as, you know, ballot pickables, health packs, and some other power-ups. And then, whenever you feel like getting started with making your game, I recommend you to go to the blank scene here. Now, the blank scene is a scene that contains all the necessary elements to kickstart your game development with FPS Engine. So you can see that we have a ground, we have a weapon pickable, and a fully working controller. Now, why I recommend you to get started with this scene? It's basically because the ground is already set up, and this is also a question that I usually get. When you're working with FPS Engine, you need a way to tell the player that the surface you are walking on is actually a walkable surface, and we do that by simply selecting any of the the ground layers that come with FPS Engine. You can see that we have ground, we have grass, metal, mat, wood, and so in this case I just set it to metal, which is a ground layer. So make sure to have that, and then apply the ground physics material on the collider of that surface. All right. Now, these layers that I just told you, they are defined here in the player movement. You can see what is ground. So here you can, select all the walkable layers. All right. So just like that. That's pretty much everything you need to know to get started with the FPS Engine. I know this tutorial was a bit longer than usual, but I really wanted to make a helpful resource for you all to get started with FPS Engine. And so if you need help with something else, check the other tutorials. I'm pretty sure those will be helpful. And if you still need help, feel free to join us on the Discord server and verify so you can get access to support, and I'll be glad to help you. So anyway, that's been everything for this video, and yeah, see you next time.